We have umbrellas, lots and lots of umbrellas, and my wife is tired of them sitting on top of this cabinet. She wants an umbrella holder. What I've got to work with is this old pan that was left on the stove and ruined. It's about 7 inches in diameter, and I've got some 1/4 inch solid steel over here also, you can see. And it's used stuff. So these are my two main materials I've got. Let's see what we can do with them. I've been prepping the pan. First thing I did is take the handle off of it. And yeah, let's see if I can get close up on this. The handle was on here with these two tabs, one here and then one on the opposite side over here like this. As you can see, I used a grinder on this side and mangled it a bit. I nicked up this. I can hide this with one leg, but I couldn't afford to do that twice because on this side I can't have another leg. So what I ended up doing is using an old putty knife and chiseling this off, and as you can see, it did a pretty good job of taking it off without doing a lot of damage. So that's getting the handle off. So now we have just have a pot. The next step is going to be to mark the pot. So I want about this much down here for the bottom of the umbrella stand where the tips of the umbrellas will go, because you don't want the tip, popping out of here. So you want a little lip to hold it in there. So I'm guessing about an inch to 1.5 inches across here. That means I'm going to have to mark this all the way around and cut it. And then the other thing I want to do before I cut it is mark where the legs are going to be, because the legs are going to come down here like this and they're going to go through the bottom piece. So once these two are separated, there's going to be a leg, but the leg here is also going to be attached down here, so I want to make sure they're in a straight line. And the best way to do that is before I cut it. That's where I'm going next, is I got to figure out how to mark this accurately, cut it, and then I'm going to drill holes in here and weld from the inside to attach the legs. So I'm going to drill, and that'll give me something that looks like a spot weld. I'll be able to just weld through here and attach the legs. Okay, so the next step is to figure out how to mark this and mark it accurately and make sure that the legs are going to be square with all this and not crooked or whatever. So that's going to be a trick. Okay, onward. Here I've marked the pan for cutting. You notice I haven't drilled the holes in it for the legs. I've changed my mind on that. Normally I'd edit this out of a video, but sometimes it's important to see where your thinking is mistaken. I just don't have tools that will allow me to put a leg on here perfectly aligned, because even if I'm off by a few degrees either way, at the bottom it's going to look terrible. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to build the steel leg part of it and then weld this to the steel legs, and that will allow me to make adjustments, whatever. But yeah, all my tools are geared for straight and angles, nothing round. So sometimes you have to accept that you don't have what you need, and you're going to have to figure out a different way, and this is one of those times. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, you can see how I've measured this. I've used a piece of masking tape, which is roughly 3/4 inch, and then some duct tape, which is 2 inches. That's going to leave me about 1.25 inches down here at the bottom. I'm going to saw along here, which will give me two parts. This will be the bottom of the umbrella stand, and then this will be the upper ring. Okay, gonna go do that. Here we are with the pot cut, and I've dulled the edges to make sure there's no sharp edges, as you can see. And there's our bottom tray, and that'll be our upper ring. Let me show you what it looks like when I put some umbrellas in there. This is 5 ordinary umbrellas and 1 extra big one, and this is what we're going to end up with. We're going to end up with a stand that looks something like this. Let me get out of the way. It'll be 60 centimeters from here to here, and a lot of the ones you can buy commercially, they're very short. They're like this, and I would think that would make things too tippy and just not very stable. So there's plenty of room up here, as you can see. I mean, we could double the number of umbrellas in there easily. So I think that's pretty good the way it stands. Now I need to go make the iron framework and weld it all together, and that'll be that. Okay, so let's go do it. At the top of the stand I want to curve, and then I'm going to put that decorative ball on here. And I don't have any precision bending equipment, and bending a short piece of metal like this is really difficult. So what I've done is about every centimeter I've made a cut, and then I'm going to weld up the inside, and that should be strong enough to do it. This was my initial approach. You can see I left about 1 millimeter metal in there, and this was too many cuts as it turns out. So this has been curved and then hammered straight again. You can see it's not perfectly straight, but just to give you an idea of what I did, let me show you the actual. So this is one of them. I've already welded the inside of here. It's plenty strong for a decorative piece. I wouldn't do it for the leg piece. I'm still debating whether I want to weld on these edges again. But yeah, so that's where we are for right now. Okay, now I need to go do the legs, and I'll probably bend the legs, but we'll see. Again, still up in the air. Well, it's getting there. It's the tray isn't welded in yet, as you can see, and I've got the top piece is bungee corded in there. So the plan is to drill through the stainless here wherever there's a leg, and I've got some stainless steel welding rods, and I'm going to weld it through the hole so that everything that the umbrellas are touching will be stainless. Okay, let's look at some close-ups. Here are the angles. I'm going to put I've got some decorative balls that go on here, and same thing up here. I'm going to drill holes through the stainless wherever there's a leg post, and tack weld from the back side with a stainless rod. Down here is just where the frame is joined together, and I did one cut here, and I did 3 cuts here, and bent them so that the legs have a little bit of look to them. I still haven't decided how to finish out the legs on it, but as you can see, we're getting there. It's welded up and pretty much ready to finish out, paint, and call it good. So let's look at some details. These are 2 of the welds. Turns out that welding thin stainless onto regular steel is not as easy as it sounds. It was a bear, but it's done, it works. Not beautiful, but a little bit of filler and the sins will be hidden. I was originally going to drill through here and tack weld the bottom pan onto the frame, but it was not easy to do that upper part, so I decided to just go ahead and tack weld it underneath here. So I did that, and instead of putting the balls up here where I was originally planning on it, I put them on the feet instead. Let's do a close-up detail on that. This is one of the balls, and I drilled a hole here and welded it here, and then it's also welded up underneath here. Can't really see that well, but my wife doesn't want rust marks. This is ordinary steel. I couldn't find a stainless steel ball, so this is a standard steel ball, and what I've done is I've soldered brass washers onto the bottom of here, which took a lot of heat. But yeah, that should prevent any rust, and then I'll probably put a piece of plastic or something over it. But so that's the detail on the feet. Well, we're pretty much done with it. Painted it flat black. There's the top. There's the bottom. I put felt on the feet. Let's go put it in place and put some umbrellas in it and see how it works. Well, here we are with umbrellas inserted. As you can see, there's a lot of space left, probably 2 or 3 times more you can get in there. And then I've got 2 hung on this side and 2 of the little ones hung on that side. So yeah, it'll hold somewhere between 12 and 18 umbrellas. Well, that's it for today. I hope you find this useful and interesting in your welding projects.